Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Alice Fong, and today I will be sharing with you the 6 components to optimal breathing to get your body into a parasympathetic nervous system state. What is the parasympathetic nervous system? Well, it's part of our autonomic nervous system, which is responsible for rest and digestion. And it's where our body should be most of the time. The opposite of the parasympathetic nervous system is the sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for that fight or flight stress response. And we need that, but we don't want to spend all of our time there because that can decrease our immune function, that can raise our blood pressure, that can have a lot of negative effects if you are there all the time. So, what are those 6 steps? The first step is breathing diaphragmatically. Breathing with your belly, essentially. You might have heard this if you've done singing training or yoga, but if you're brand new to diaphragmatic breathing, I'll walk you through it. So, what does that look like? Well, I'll have you put one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, and it will be the bottom hand that will be moving in and out. When you breathe in, your belly's going to be expanding. When you breathe out, your belly's going to be contracting. Some people want to do the reverse in the beginning. But just remember, breathe in, belly gets bigger, breathe out, belly gets smaller. And I'll demonstrate here. So, one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. The top hand is staying still. It's the bottom hand that's moving in and out. So breathe in, my belly's expanding. Breathe out, my belly's contracting. Breathe in, my bottom hand is getting pushed out. Breathe out, my hand is going in towards my spine. I'll turn to the side so you can see that a little better. So breathe in, my belly's being pushed out. Breathe out, my belly is going in towards my hand. Breathe in, belly's expanding. Breathe out, hand is going in. So that is diaphragmatic breathing. The second step is breathing slower. Most adults are breathing at 12 to 20 breaths per minute, and that's considered normal and healthy, which it is. But if you want to get your body into that parasympathetic nervous system state, you're going to have to be breathing at 4.5 to 6.5 breaths per minute. Considerably slower, but it's not as slow as people think. And there's a beautiful thing called apps out there, which makes the process easier. So you don't have to go look at a clock to know when to breathe in and breathe out. Number 3 is breathing through your nose for both your inhale and exhale. I know that might be a little different than some yoga or meditation practice, where some practices have you breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. And I'm not saying that's bad or that's wrong, but just for this practice specifically, I want you to breathe in and out through your nose, okay? Number 4, this also might be a little different from what you've heard. Most people have heard deep breathing is relaxing, which it is. But for this practice, I actually emphasize shallow belly breathing. So it is technically deeper into your body, but it doesn't have to be a super deep breath. And what I mean by that is, this is what I don't want you to do. If you can hear yourself breathing, you're breathing too deeply. It should be a silent thing. And if you ever feel lightheaded or dizzy, or you're gonna pass out, that is breathing too deeply. So when you are using the app or hearing the music rise as you inhale, just breathe into what's comfortable for your body, hold it there until the music changes, then breathe out to what's comfortable for your body. Hold it there until the music changes, and then do the same thing. Breathe into what's comfortable for your body, hold it there, breathe out to what's comfortable for your body, hold it there. Rather than trying to exaggerate as much as you can for that whole amount of inhale, and then as much as you can during your exhale, just go to what's comfortable, hold, breathe out to what's comfortable. And gradually over time, the more you practice, the more you're going to be able to expand and contract without having to hold as much. But just give it time, patience, and commitment. That's what it's going to take. And you are exercising a muscle. You're exercising your diaphragmatic muscles. And the more you practice, the more you're going to be able to, again, expand without holding as much and contract without holding as much. So breathing in to what's comfortable, hold, breathe out to what's comfortable, and hold. That's number 4, shallow belly breathing. Number 5 is an interesting physiological phenomenon, is that when we breathe in, our heart rate increases slightly. When we breathe out, our heart rate decreases slightly. So it's the exhale that slows down our breath. So in this practice, especially in the beginning, I'm going to have you practice equal inhale, equal exhale, rather than long exhale. But if you're in a scenario where you're stressed, maybe you're at a work meeting and you're presenting and you're feeling really anxious, just remember, slow exhale. That will slow down your heart rate, because you can't necessarily whip out your app in the middle of a meeting. So slow exhales. And gradually, when you do this practice more and more, you can try to do that slow exhale then. So that's number 5. Number 6 is posture. Last but not least is posture. You can be sitting back in your chair, right, like that, but don't be hunching down, because that crunches your abdomen and restricts your diaphragmatic movement. So shoulders back, your spine is straight. If you want to be leaning back in your chair, you can. Or if you want to be sitting up a little more, that's perfectly fine too. You can also be sitting down on the floor if you prefer. But just make sure your shoulders are back, so your spine is straight, so you can emphasize that diaphragmatic movement, okay? What I don't recommend is practicing this lying down, especially in the beginning, because it is a very relaxing practice that you might fall asleep. And then you don't get your 10 minutes of practice, which would be training your parasympathetic nervous system over time. So 10 minutes a day sitting up in a chair or on the floor. And over time, if you want to practice this at night before bed, that's perfectly okay. Make sure you get your 10 minutes sitting up first, and then if you want to keep playing the music and fall asleep and then lie down, you can do that. But make sure you get your 10 minutes sitting up. And also do not practice this driving in a car for the same reason. We don't want you to fall asleep at the wheel. So those are the 6 steps. And I'm going to demonstrate them using the app that I like. It's called Breathing Zone. And it's really great. And we're going to pace it at, let's say, 6 breaths per minute. I'll show it to you on the app right here. So at 6 breaths per minute, I'm setting the pace. I'm going to set the sound to say breathe in, breathe out. And so for here, I like this app because it gives you a nice auditory and visual cue. So you'll just imagine like this picture is your belly expanding and contracting. So we'll practice here together as we breathe in and out. So here we go. Breathe in, belly's expanding, hold as you need to. Breathe out, belly's contracting, hold as you need to. Breathe in, belly's expanding, hold. Breathe out, belly's going in, hold. Breathe in, I'm pushing out my bottom hand, hold. Breathe out, and my hand is going in towards me. Breathe in, belly's expanding. Breathe out. Great. So that is what it looks like. And you can set the pace anywhere between 4.5 to 6.5. I usually have people start at 6 breaths per minute. And over time, as you get used to it, you can try different paces, like 5, 5.5, 4.5. Whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever pace feels comfortable for you, that's the pace you can stick with. There's no right or wrong pace, okay? Just pick the one that you feel feels the best for you. The last thing I want to emphasize is having that regular daily practice. It does help you feel relaxed in the moment for sure, but if you want like the long-term benefits, you have to practice it on a regular daily basis. I recommend 10 minutes a day and make it part of your routine so it becomes a habit either in the morning or in the evening, so it is consistent. And that's how you train your nervous system over time. So even when you're not in the practice, you start breathing like this outside of the practice, and it just starts to become more automatic. So you just feel more relaxed and at ease in life in general. So stress doesn't seem to affect you or impact your body to the same degree as it did before. Well, thank you so much for watching, and happy relaxing.